It is clear from all previous presentations and from the discussion that one of the factors that differentiates result-based interventions from conventional interventions may be the perception of risk, or how farmers or other participants perceive the risk from participating, and also how administrators, intervention designers, managing authorities, or personnel also perceive the risk associated with result-based interventions and all the factors that are related to the result-based interventions. On this slide, you can see some indicative sources. Many of them were reviewed already by Gerald and Guillaume. And these are sources that are related to the uncertainty or the fear which affects the perception we have about risk, the risk of participating. For example, farmers may be uncertain if they will be able to attain the results, especially if this is related to having specific skills and knowledge, or if the results depend on factors that are not controlled by the farmer, external factors, weather changes, or other factors. In other interventions, self-monitoring may be a requirement, and participants may fear that they may be not able to forthcome and measure or monitor their own farms. Others may worry about external monitoring and verification activities, not only trust, but also accuracy. Uncertainty is also felt by personnel in managing authorities, who may fear or foresee low adoption rates, or are uncertain if their organizations have the capacity to monitor or can assess such an intervention, let alone that it may be tricky to integrate such an intervention in the PMEF and integrate it currently with IACS and LPIs. So do we have room in the PMEF, for example, to record the presence of 8 rare species of plants in grasslands of European interest? And how can we do this? And how can we integrate such a recording into the PMEF and see the results? Please, can I have the next slide? Thank you. I argue that the evaluation at different stages of the design and implementation of the results-based intervention is very useful. First and foremost, ex-ante evaluation. Among other things, the ex-ante is the place and time to manage the risk. Start an ex-ante evaluation by identifying all the possible sources that may increase risk perception by farmers or by managing authorities. Are the indicators difficult to measure? Are they fuzzy? Not easily understood? Are the farming practices clear? Do beneficiaries perceive the results as being relevant to their farming practices? Is the administration prepared for such an intervention? Do they have the skills? Can IACS, as it stands now, facilitate the recording of the results? Can these results be easily integrated in the PMEF, impact indicators, results indicators, etc.? If the intervention is substantially large, the evaluator may also think to draw a risk management plan. The risk management plan can indicate the sources of risk, what has been already done to reduce risk perception, and what other measures can be taken if during the implementation we realize that additional actions are needed. In other words, a reserve of measures that can be used if things go wrong in the implementation despite our effort to foresee risk reduction ex ante. Of course, results-based interventions are not only about risk. Some issues that may be worth looking during the ex ante stage and during the ex ante evaluation are related with the assessment of issues that are frequently emerge when implementing result-based interventions. These are related to unintended effects. Of course, these also occur with action-based, but are more frequent with result-based interventions. Targeting, inclusivity, which is a very important aspect, very important, especially for result-based interventions, where it is easy to exclude not only part of the farming population or certain participants, but it's also easy to exclude landscapes, places, whole areas. Can I have please, the next slide, Valdis? Thank you. The second stage is the ongoing evaluation, where one should concern with two signals. We must be alert to receive two signals that will trigger additional action or mobilize our risk management plan. First of all, adoption rates. Very low adoption rates imply that implementation may not be successful, and we have not been successful in managing the perceived risk and attract participants. Also, very high adoption rates. This may also be an issue when administrators, in the fear of low adoption, they provide very low results or very high rewards, and so they attract a lot of people. Do we have a remedy in our risk management plan, and can we trigger this remedy? The second thing that we should look during the ongoing evaluation is results, not only adoption rates, but results. These may not be as expected despite participation and despite adoption. Again, do we have a reaction ready? Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. And then at the end, we have ex post or summative evaluations, which are very important because there the evaluator have the chance to really measure all the issues related to how effective and efficient the intervention was, and of course, some tricky issues that are more likely to be associated with result-based interventions, such as selection bias, additionality was stressed and highlighted by Guillaume, displacement, permanence of results, etc. Summative evaluations, remember, is important for two reasons. First of all, accountability. We must tell the taxpayer what happened with the money that were trusted to the managing authority and the strategic plan. But the second very important is everything that was presented by Gerald. Learn from our experience, lessons learned. We have to summarize what we learned, our successes and failures, and use them in the future design of result-based interventions. This is very important for result-based interventions because we have not a lot of experience yet. We have not accumulated from result-based interventions, and still our knowledge is low, and there is room to learn and to produce better designs or adapt our interventions to meet new challenges. Can I have the last slide, please? And the key takeaway points from this very short presentation of evaluation in the result-based interventions are the following. First of all, result-based interventions go hand in hand with more risk perceived by farmers and administration, and this is what we have to manage. I can assure you, and if you read through the work document that the help desk has produced, risk can be mitigated. There are many tools which assist us and support in managing and mitigating the risk in all phases of the design, the implementation, and recording of the intervention. There are many actions that can be taken ex ante. Some of them were presented also by Gerald. Demonstration, knowledge, dissemination can reduce the perceived risk by prospective participants. And they can also increase the security that is felt by the participants and the administrators also. We should not forget the administration. They also share a quite important part of the risk in the implementation and the design, of course, of these interventions. There is also considerable research that provides many ideas. We may not have a lot of practical experience from the implementation, the real implementation of these interventions, but there is a lot of research that accumulates experience that provides many ideas and also provides innovative solutions on how to deal with specific risks. And our working document in the Evaluation Helpdesk, which I call you to have a look, reviews many of these research on that subject. Also, many member states have started to evaluate and review their experience, and thus our shared knowledge will also increase in the immediate future. Finally, I argue that evaluation is very crucial. Evaluation is the most important support in planning, in my opinion, not only for designing, but also for implementing and for assessing the result-based interventions. And I recommend that evaluators take full advantage of risk management plans. If the result-based intervention is substantial, is important in aerial terms, in financial terms, in result terms, then do take the resources and the time to draw a risk management plan. This will, during the exam, this will pay off.